What's going on, ladies and gents? It's your boy Henry. Welcome back to another market update. So we're going to jump right into it with some divergences that I believe we called out in our last video, which we do have right here, okay? Which was this bullish divergence we had on the hourly time frame on the VIX. Now, what we also called out is Bitcoin had a daily divergence, okay? So we're going to be talking about that as well. But yeah, starting with the hourly chart on the VIX. Okay, so we called out this bullish divergence we had here on the VIX, as you see, lower low, higher high. And I just want to point out how you can use these divergences to trade. Okay, you see this, you see how we are not making highs right here. Okay, your CCI is continuously, it's gradually going lower there. All right, but what do we have here? You're literally making new highs every step of the way here. All right, that was your signal right there. Okay, we're probably going to have a pullback on the VIX. All right, and this bullish divergence right here, that was also your signal that we're probably going to have a bounce on the VIX. All right, so yeah, just another example of how divergences typically play out. All right, we might as well add these repetitions into the channel, okay, because okay, even if you guys don't want to do these on your own, okay, I'm gonna make you guys do the work anyway. All right, because repetitions equals success. All right, so we're going to start off with the daily chart on the VIX. And yeah, that's where we're going to start the actual TA. All right, so you got your CCI flying high in the sky here, and this is actually inverse to the SPY, of course. But what I want to point out is you do have your stochastic about to cross down here, which can signal that, hey, maybe we're going to be stalling, and maybe we're going to have a pullback. Maybe we even come back and fill this gap. Now, I made the prediction that I didn't think we were going to fill this gap. And then I saw that this turned into an exhaustion gap right here. And I figured we were going to come down and fill this going into Jackson Hole. Now, I ended up taking my short position back along with other puts on SPY before the gap fill because we had prepared on this channel, we had prepared, okay, if there is anything bearish mentioned from Jerome Powell, okay, if they mention any rate hikes, if they mention anything that just sounds bearish, okay, you're not gonna respond well for the markets. Like, that was guaranteed. We prepared for that, okay. And when they announced that they're going to be well, you mentioned the 75 BP hike instead of the 50 BP hike, well, that's something the market now has to price in. And that's why I was saying, like, anything can make this thing go down, okay? Like, any bad news, like, we are rallying, and if Jerome thought we were at elevated levels when we were lower than we were now on the SPY, any bad news is going to bring us down. Like, that's what they want. So we were ready for that one. But yeah, okay, so that's why I ended up saying, okay, I don't think this gap is going to be filled by Jackson Hole. All right, and I ended up being right on that one. Everything worked out, but that doesn't say we can't come back and fill this gap. All right, so let's just see what we got going on SPY. We have the same exact gap up here. All right, now I told you guys what I thought of this candle. I said this candle looks so damn bearish. Like, this is the mother of all bearish candles. Like, look at it on DIA. It made the perfect bearish engulfing candle. Whereas SPY and QQQ, I mean, I guess we kind of have one on SPY. Kind of the tweezer tops as well. Either way, this candle represents the same thing. It is, holy shit, the bears just shoved you down all day. Like, that is not good. Okay, that was not good. And yeah, we said we were probably going to keep going down. All right, now I want to point out that we are in the oversold region on our CCI, on SPY and QQQ. We are deeply oversold. All right, now one of the reasons that I said I thought we were going to stop falling pretty soon down here was, look where we were, minus 183 on the CCI on this day. All right, let's just look back on where you formed your bottoms. All right, your bottoms form when your CCI gets over here, but then you also have your divergences. So keep in mind, there are other factors than just spotting, okay, this is an oversold territory, let's buy it up. That's not how you trade, okay? That's not how you successfully trade, continuously trade, and don't lose all your money, all right? If you want to lose all your money, yeah, go fish to the bottom like that. Use the CCI every single time it's under 200. I want you to buy. You're probably actually going to be making money, but I mean, there's just no. I'm going to say you're probably not going to be making money. So some of the time you're going to be making money, but not all the time you're going to be making money. What I think is pretty damn reliable, and what I weigh the heaviest out of all of my factors I look at, is divergences. All right, I like seeing divergence form. It's literally a direct correlation with momentum. Like, this is a momentum indicator. Therefore, if momentum is slowing, that's going to be your first indicator that that's going off, or your first signal that's going off. It's going to be the bearish divergence or the bullish divergence. All right. But yeah, we are getting over into this oversold region. Now, I was vocal about what I am expecting and what I'm going to be looking for a bottom. All right. And I'm looking for a bullish divergence to form on the CCI. And I said, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we come down here, come up, form that higher high. Okay. But we're probably going to come all the way down here when that is formed. Like, you could be going here, you have your little bounce, and that's what that is. And then you go lower, and that's what forms the actual bullish divergence. This one's going up, that one's going down. All right, I think that's going to be the case here. I think that's going to be what happens. All right, now I'm not going to say we can't get a bounce before going lower. All right, but what I will say is I'll bring you guys back to our QQQ chart. Okay, if you lose this trend line here and you have the close underneath it, you have this price target, this yellow line right here. This is your price target. All right, or actually, is it the price target? Yes, it is the price target, 282. Okay, making sure I'm not mixing stuff up. All right. Yeah, if you close under here, if you have a 4-hour close under here, like we haven't had that this whole time, and that's what I'm going to be using to gauge my trade, which I will say already. Okay, I did actually enter on the VIX gap fill. I did enter September 9, 300 puts on the SPY. All right, I have a starter position, and I am waiting for more signals. All right, I am waiting. I am patient, but I am pretty positive I am catching a big move. Now, when will I add to my position? I will add on a trendline break. That means I will have to buy at a higher price. Yes, that is exactly what that means, but that's because that buy-in will be specifically for this trade. But I did get the early entry anyway, because I do think we are going to go significantly lower within the next week. And yeah, I just want to make sure I am in there, and that's why I called it a starter. Now, I'm going to be, I'm not going to be adding on the gap fills as I already did, but what I want to point out is the QQ actually still has this gap unless we went up and filled it during this video. Yeah, we didn't fill this gap yet. So this is actually another thing that I am waiting for. I'm pretty sure this is going to be filled. I think we're going to have a little bounce here. But again, I mean, I don't know. Okay, but we did have the bearish divergence here on the VIX that predicted this sell-off. I don't know if it's going to lead to a bigger sell-off, but it's a thing. Okay, VIX is cooling off. Let's see if we have anything bullish on SPY to talk about. Okay, do we have any bullish divergences? Because again, if we do have some bullish divergences, they're probably going to lead to at least a little bounce. All right, I don't know if you really can call this a bullish divergence. Like, yeah, you have these little points here, but you didn't really come back down and form any, you know, I mean, any clear as day divergences. But obviously, yeah, I mean, you kept falling here, whereas you were rising here. I guess we could call that your divergence. That would be signaling that we're going to have some buying pressure step in. All right, and actually, I don't know why I still have this 408 target here on the board. We can take this off. So one of our targets got hit. All right, and I believe this was the bump and run target. I think it was the bump and run target. I'm not sure though. It's either, yeah, it was the bump and run target. Okay, because the falling wedge target is all the way back down here. Which, I mean, honestly, all in all, my target for this move down here will be this gap fill. That's where, I mean, honestly, like, I don't know what position I'll have at the time, but yeah, if I see this gap fill, I'll probably be taking profits at whatever position I'm in. Probably where I'm going to be taking profits no matter what. But yeah, guys, on the daily time frame, you are in this oversold territory, but you are still, like, you're just going down. Okay, like, it doesn't look good is what I'm getting at. This doesn't look good at all. All right, but you do have your stochastic curling up, and that can lead to us getting a bounce, maybe something like that before we head lower. But yeah, guys, I don't think we are going to be bouncing. I think this move, I told you guys what this candle meant, okay? And I thought this is the start of the damn move, guys. This is the start of this move on the weekly time frame that we have been preparing for. All right, but keep in mind, you could be doing a thing here, and you could cross up, and you could do a little dance just like we had over here. And what happened when we were over here? We traded pretty damn sideways, if you ask me. This is a lot of chop. Now, there was a lot of money to be made over here. I didn't make money over there. I didn't even know how to trade at that point. Well, I did, but was it nearly as I would say as skilled at trading at that point and charting at that point? But nevertheless, there is still a lot of money to be made here in this chop. If we look at the daily time frame, I mean, these are still very big moves here that you could have been playing. But yeah, okay. So something like that can happen where we just kind of dance around here. And if that's the case, I'm going to stick with what I said a few videos back. It's still very on the table that we literally, the dealers just keep winning and we just stay in this big ass range. We don't make lower lows. We don't make the higher highs. Like we literally could just dance in this range and dealers can continuously just take everyone's money. And that could be how this game is played. That could literally be what happens. And then maybe we just start going up and we never see our bear market. I don't know. All right. Or, I mean, obviously we're seeing the bear market now, but you guys know what I mean. We never see our 08 crash, which I don't think that's coming right now, but I do think that is in the cards at some point. And I've been vocal about that here on the channel. I've told you guys, like, guys, everything does not make sense. Okay. Like we have gone too far for us not to have like a bigger than 08 correction. Not even a correction. That's a crash. All right. That's a crash. Well, we had COVID 2020. That was also a crash. You call that a correction, but that was a crash as well. It was like you went down like 20-30% crash. But yeah, I think like we do have a situation in our hands that's gonna be it's gonna be like that. But I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's gonna be doing what we did in COVID where we just fall off a cliff. Okay. If we get something like this, I expect this is going to be our black swan event. This is when I don't even know. I mean, we had the whole Russia thing and that didn't even produce this. So I don't know what is going to produce something like that, but I mean, it's going to be a bad catalyst. That's all I can really say. That is your black swan event. Now, I still think we're going to move lower, but I don't think it's going to happen like this, the 08 style crash where you just die. All right. I think it's going to be this, what we have been seeing for months and months now. I think we're going to continue seeing chop, but this chop is tradable and that's what we're going to be doing here on the channel. So, I mean, I'm still pretty damn excited about it. But yeah, guys, okay, we can go over to VIX. What do we have here? So at the same time as you're curling up in your stochastic here on the QQ and the SPY, you have your VIX curling down. What does that signal? Well, I mean, maybe this cools off and that has a relief bounce. Now, what I will also say is that someone actually called it out in the comment section. I actually got this from Ron Walker. I picked this up probably a few months ago when I started watching his channel. Like, I think I started watching him 3 to 4 months ago, maybe 5. I don't know. My friend Swim Mom sent me a link to his channel one time and she told me to check him out. And honestly, dude, that's like one of the only people I have consistently watched. Like that is a guy I think his TA is worth watching. Honestly, like if you find someone whose TA works, that is something that is worth watching. All right, just because it works. So why not try and model it? But yeah, guys. Okay. I just had a brain fart. I don't even remember where we were. I'm gonna be completely honest. I have no idea where we were. Yeah, okay, let's just pretend we finished up with the daily time frame. Okay, we already pointed out that yeah, that's crossing up, but that is it's not like this is hinging yet, and that is what I'm saying. So it does look like we're probably going to be heading down. And I'm not saying this is off the table. I think this actually is going to be what forms. I think we're going to be forming this bullish divergence right there on the daily time frame. But yeah, like when it's happening, people they're gonna be like, holy shit, we're falling off a cliff. But this is how you find out, okay, when are we not off a cliff? Okay, when is there actually support that doesn't exist, but it is there? And that's this. This is like, when does it show that the buying pressure is going to be stepping in, which is pretty much what support is. That's where the buying pressure steps in. But yeah, I think this is literally going to be happening. Like, let's see. So when we hit over here, which I consider this deeply oversold, 183 on your CCI. What are we over here? We're at 145. So you're at 96 here and you jumped all the way down there, almost 100 points on the CCI. So I mean, guys, maybe we have another really bad day before we start just consolidating down here and getting ready for the bounce. But yeah, I think it's more likely that we are probably going to have another violent day of a sell-off. And then we're going to start doing this. And once we hit this point where we hit this bottom on the CCI, and that's what I'm relating to this. I think we're going to have one more day that goes a little lower just because of how low the CCI goes when we form these bottoms. So that's why I said I think we're going to have one more bad day after today. Before that bounce, obviously I do have targets on the board that are much lower than what we are, than where we're at now, but I don't think it's going to be one straight fall. Okay, I think we're probably going to be crossing back and forth. Either way, I don't care. I'm going to trade it the same either way. But yeah, let's just see, when you hit this point, how far did you keep going? Okay, you still could have caught another $10 move down. And And yeah, that would put us right around where we got this golden pocket here with our one of our targets right here at the gap fill. That would be pretty cool. Okay, but yeah, that is exactly what I am expecting to happen. I don't know if you just fall off a cliff one of these days. I have no idea. Maybe we see another one of these very fucking bearish days. Okay, maybe we do. And the range on this day was absolutely crazy. Okay, there was a $14 day. So much money to be made. Now the range on QQ I believe was actually more. No, it was the same, $14 day as well. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Okay, what I'm watching for is I really am just watching for you to break this line on QQQ, and we can actually take this. We can get rid of that just because it's not really useful anymore. And we can also get rid of. Do we need that? We need that blue line. Oh, also something I said it in the description. I did not mention in the video on Friday. But what I said was that if we close below this level, which is 406.82, which if you guys want to go back to where that is, right here, okay? It is our last point of support here, and I guess you can also call it right here, okay? If you had your close under there as well, maybe that's it for some people. I don't know. So 406, we'll call it. I said if you had a close, a daily close under that level, which you did, very clearly you did. I said you were going to be probably, well, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'm going to paraphrase here. I said that we are going to be coming down to the $400 level. That is what probability suggests. All right. Now, so far, it's pretty spot on. We are looking like we are probably going to touch it tomorrow if we do have another bearish day. But again, like I said here, I don't know. And oh, what I was just saying, I just remembered what I had that giant brain fart about when I was talking about Ron Walker and the VIX. And so yeah, if VIX is over a 10% day, I said someone commented this, and it was a good comment. There's a good comment. That's something that I haven't mentioned too often in these videos, but yes, that is also a rule that I follow. If the VIX is higher than 10% on any given day, it does signal that the S&P 500 will have a down day. Or not a down day, an up day within the next 2 trading sessions. So that is also something to keep in mind. All right, so if we end up closing out negative today, then odds suggest, or probability suggests, that we are going to be heading on up to having a green day tomorrow. All right, because that would be the second trading session. So maybe that does end up crossing up and we do get that bounce, and then we do continue lower, and that maybe that means we're going to start forming this, and maybe our CCI comes up here, have that, and then we form that bullish divergence while we head lower. All right, I don't know what's going to happen, but that is something to keep in mind. Like if 85% is going to come into play here, the 85% probability that we're going to have a green day on the S&P 500, if that is going to come into play, then yeah, it's going to happen tomorrow. Okay, but there's only a 15% chance that if we close red today, that we do not end up green tomorrow. Okay, so there's a 15% chance that we are red tomorrow. There is an 85% chance that we are green tomorrow, as long as the S&P 500 closes negative on today. All right, so keep that in mind. If we close positive today, then we don't need the up day tomorrow. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind there. All right, so we're going to close things off with Bitcoin. Okay, so we're going to talk about this daily divergence that we called out. Okay, I like to look at daily divergences, or not daily divergences, just divergences in general. I like to spot them on the CCI. Stochastic usually has them, but as you see, the stochastic always kind of comes down and just stays in this range once it's down here, whereas this one can go way under here and pop up and do all these things. So you're just more likely to see it. And I've explained in previous videos why I use the CCI, or why I think the CCI is the best indicator in general for finding these divergences, which is because the CCI is literally just like an index of like with this amount of momentum and buying pressure and selling pressure in these exact same circumstances in any other history and time, how would it affect price? And this is how it would affect price. This is how our market made it. This is how our market maker made it happen, I guess. But this is actually what would have happened if that amount of buying pressure would have existed over all points in history. All right, so that is why these divergences work. So now that we explained what a bullish divergence is on the CCI, and why it is important, what do we think is going to happen here? What do we think? Okay, well, we're saying that we're probably going to be getting a bounce tomorrow on the SPY. All right. And we're probably going to be getting a pullback on the VIX. Now, do we come back and fill this gap? I really can't say, okay? I got targets on the board on the VIX here and here. I do think these are going to be hit in September, in the month of September. I do. I think before September 16th, we will have those hit. But again, I don't have like a crystal ball or anything. I can't give exact dates, okay? So stay safe out there. If you're playing contracts, make sure you got enough date. All right. We already took profits. Well, I took profits on my VIX contracts, and I'm not in them anymore. But what I did end up, what I am in right now is the September 9 300 puts on QQQ, and that is what I plan on adding to. I don't have a big position now. It's enough that I will be gaining. If we decide to jump off a cliff, jump off a $10 cliff tomorrow, I will gain a large lump sum. But it's not the full position because I don't think my perfect entry has came yet. I think we are going to have a situation like we had over here where we just stay down here in this region for quite some time and we just keep falling. And the way you could have traded that move was with this. Okay, you could have traded it with your weekly CCI and weekly stochastics. Okay. So yeah, okay, just keep in mind, guys, anything can happen. But yeah, everything we just covered on the video today, like that's what probability suggests will be taking place. All right. And yeah, I mean, technically we had that bullish divergence here on QQQ on the hourly time frame. I'm not going to say it's a pretty bullish divergence. I don't even know if this would be classified as a bullish divergence, but I knew you do have this point here. You have a point here, and you're making lower lows as you're making these higher highs here. So, I mean, yes, it represents the same exact thing. I wouldn't be surprised if you bounce. All right, you're bouncing like pretty much exactly on this trend line. Like I'm sure you could have drawn it away to make it touch here. And like technically speaking, that's probably why it's bouncing. All right, it's probably on this big ass trend line. All right, so I'm just saying, if you do break that, you guys know what is coming next, okay? But this is a damn good place for it to have the bounce, and we are in this oversold territory, deeply oversold territory on the CCI, on SPY and QQQ, and the VIX is in this overbought territory on the CCI. You are crossing down. So, I mean, things do suggest that you're probably going to get a bounce here, and it might be a decent-sized bounce, all right? But then watch out, okay? If we do have a decent-sized bounce at QQ and SPY really start pushing up, that's when I'm going to start watching this gap fill again for another entry. All right, so that's pretty much it. I will catch you guys next video, and peace.